bake a cake with less sugar? And will it taste good? Well, I gave it a go, so keep watching to see what happened. And make sure you watch till the end to see the children's verdict. I'm going to make a classic sponge and reduce the sugar by half and see what happens. Remember to subscribe if you like this video and want to see more. I'll be using 4 ounces of flour, 2 eggs, 4 ounces of butter, a teaspoon of vanilla, and using 2 ounces of sugar instead of 4. I'm going to start by weighing out all the ingredients. I love to bake. I have baked since I was about 10 years old, and I've always loved it. But since I've had children, and my father developed type 2 diabetes, and I myself had gestational diabetes, I'm a lot more aware of the amount of sugar there is in our foods. And I naturally started to reduce the amount of sugar that I was baking with. I also knew they were better for me and my family. Clean, good quality ingredients without all the preservatives and flavourings. So I wanted to do a series basically investigating how much I could reduce the sugar by without impacting taste and texture. Over time, my palate got accustomed to less sugar. So when I would buy shop-bought cakes, biscuits and ice creams, they always tasted way too sweet, and I much prefer the taste of home-baked goods. First, I'm going to cream together the butter and sugar. On a side note, make sure your butter is at room temperature before you start. It'll make this process much easier. Now, you might be shocked to hear that sugar doesn't just add sweetness to the cake, but it also provides structure, colour and moistness. We could just end up with a dry, pale sponge that needs to be washed down with a gallon of milk, but let's hope not. I add the vanilla extract and every so often scrape down the sides of the bowl. Once it's nicely combined together, I slowly start adding the egg. I always have this fear that my mixture is going to curdle, so I always add in a little bit of flour as I go to stop this from happening. I'll add the rest of the flour in stages, remembering to scrape down the bowl every so often. And I've decided to add a little bit of milk to loosen up the mixture. I'm going to preheat the oven to 180, and I've decided to make small cupcakes using a silicone mould. And I'm going to bake them for about 10 to 12 minutes as they are quite small. Okay, so they're done and they've cooled down. They look okay in colour, have a spongy, springy texture, and they taste okay too. I did find them a bit dry and they did harden up overnight, but my toddler didn't seem to mind.
Is it yummy?
Yeah.
So even though the sweetness was okay, I wasn't quite happy with the texture or the dryness, so I decided to try again, but this time, instead of reducing the sugar by 50%, I tried 25% instead. I used the same method, but did it by hand this time, and I baked them in the same silicone mould for 10 to 12 minutes. The colour is slightly more golden than the previous batch, and it's softer, more like the sponges we're used to. This is definitely better, as you can't really tell that the sugar has been reduced, and again, the kids liked it. So my overall opinion is that it's perfectly okay to reduce the amount of sugar by 25% in this traditional basic sponge recipe. It had minimal impact on taste and texture, and the children liked it. I read somewhere that the average American is consuming about 152 pounds of sugar annually. So whilst 25% might not sound like a lot, it does add up over time. And I'll definitely continue using this recipe for my home baking.
And this
Thanks for watching, and please remember to subscribe to my channel.
is